What happens when childhood becomes content?
I didn't know about being a young influencer until I became one myself.
I'm the one that introduced you to you right now.
We're living in a time when teenagers don't just grow up, they do it in front of millions. From viral dance videos to beauty tutorials, teenage influencers are building empires before they even finish high school. But behind the filters and brand deals is a much bigger story. One about pressure, perception, and a generation learning to perform adulthood before they've ever had the chance to experience childhood. And this isn't about TikTok fame, it's about how growing up online is changing what it even means to be a kid. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of teenage influencers and the growing trend of young people maturing faster than ever before. From the rise of teen stars like Charlize, Amelia Wu, and Princess Amelia Wu, to the pressures of social media and the world of branding, it's clear that today's youth are facing a completely different reality than previous generations. And we're asking the question, are they really growing up fast, or is this just the next evolution of digital culture? When I was scrolling through social media, I came across Princess Amelia's content, and when you look at this, you might think you're watching a seasoned fashion influencer in her early 20s. Her videos are slick, her fashion sense is effortlessly on trend, and her presence across TikTok and Instagram is as polished as some of the biggest names in the industry. She shares beauty tutorials, dances to viral audio, and walks on professional fashion shows, all while building a brand that feels mature, curated, and incredibly aspirational. Her followers? Largely young girls look up to her not just for style inspiration, but for how she seems to have it all figured out. But here's the thing. Amelia isn't in her 20s. She's not even in college. Princess Amelia Wu was born in 2008, which means she's only 16 years old. Wow, that is crazy, right? Her videos are extremely polished, her branding is on point, and she's already walked in professional fashion shows, all while most teenagers her age are still figuring out high school. Amelia collaborates with her older brother on YouTube, maintains a strong Instagram presence, and appeals to an audience that's mostly made up of young girls who see her as a role model. And this is where the conversation gets really complicated. Because while her rise is undeniably impressive, it raises a crucial question. When someone this young is performing adulthood so convincingly, are we celebrating the talent or overlooking the pressures and consequences of growing up too fast in front of millions? Videos. And at first glance, this might just look like a teen doing what she loves, right? Dancing, dressing up, or maybe, building a future in entertainment. And it's so easy to say that she's just talented. She's made it on social media. But I still can't help asking the same question. Is this really normal? Is this really normal for someone this young to be performing and posing and presenting herself like this in front of hundreds of millions of people? Because when a teenager's content starts looking more like a professional modeling reel, we have to stop and ask, what are the long-term consequences of this kind of exposure? What happens when a child grows up learning to equate her self-worth with likes and comments and followers? And maybe the most important and frankly quite infuriating question of all is, where are the hell her parents? Who's setting the boundaries? Who's looking out for her well-being? Because no matter how successful she might be online, she's still a kid. And I think that kids deserve to grow up without the constant pressure of performing adulthood for the internet. No, let's be real. Where's our careless childhood, everyone? Come on. And despite being a teenager, Princess Amelia Wu presents herself with poise and polish of someone much older. Just look at her style. It's a blend of casual chic and a trending high fashion. Amelia's ability to blend playful, youthful energy with a more mature fashion aesthetic is exactly what makes her content so compelling and also so telling. And in many ways, Amelia embodies the evolving expectations placed on young influencers today. She's not just participating in trends, she's helping set them. Her regular collaborations with her older brother Thomas Wu, a professional boxer and content creator, bring a layer of relatability and a family dynamic to her brand. But even those sibling moments, they feel carefully curated, polished for public consumption. even that doesn't help much, you know? And just letting you know that I'm not judging and criticizing this particular creator for what she does. In fact, she might not be aware of the consequences she might suffer for in the future while posting this type of content at the moment. That's totally understandable. She's not the one who performs this type of content. You see a lot of people on social media posting the same content. I'm just questioning the bigger picture by using the example of Amelia. And with over 8 million followers across platforms, Amelia's audience is largely made up of teens and young adults, many of whom look for her not only for entertainment, but for guidance on how to look, act, and present themselves. And that's where the conversation shifts. So it's not just about Amelia and her type of content. She might suffer the consequences herself, but the amount of people overall she impacts is much, much bigger. Because while Amelia's rise is impressive, it also highlights a bigger question. What does it mean when children, because that's what they still are held to the standards of adult creators? Amelia's journey reflects the changing face of social media, where authenticity, branding, and visual perfection collide. In a space that rewards maturity, polish, and adult-level self-awareness, young creators like her are carving out success. But at what cost? Are they shaping the trends or being shaped by the pressure to grow up too fast?
New dance.
Wow, just wow. Watching this video, honestly, I can't believe my eyes. Like the way she's dancing, the way she's dressed, you know, I just try to imagine myself doing the same thing at this age. And honestly, I didn't even want to think about it. Like, what's so concerning isn't just the video itself, it's the fact that she's not alone. Like, there's so many young girls posting similar content on social media, visible to everyone and anyone, you know? And the scariest part is that she might not even fully understand the risks. The dangers of putting this content online and the way it can be consumed, misinterpreted, or even used against her, both now and in the future, is just so scary. I sometimes feel so sorry for these people who don't understand the consequences they might suffer for by posting this type of content just for the sake of likes or money or comments. Like, sometimes we crave so much of that instant gratification for the sake of likes and comments that in the future we might suffer from that even more than we realized. And yeah, it's kind of the deal. And sure, some of the people might watch this and say like, wow, there are a bunch of people posting that and there's no harm, right? Like, it's so harmless. But when a child's performing in a way that blurs the line between self-expression and adult expectations, that's when we need to start asking hard questions. Like, that's not fun anymore, right? Who's protecting them? Like, who's profiting from this exposure?
How do they look like this?
What?
Tell them how old you are.
I'm 14.
She's 14. Look how she looks. Turn around, show them your hair. It's beautiful. Like, she did it all by herself, too. Like, her makeup, her...
And as I said, Amelia is not alone in this. Charli D'Amelio is perhaps the most well-known case of a teen thrust into a superstardom by social media. At just 15, Charli became the most followed TikTok creator in the world, turning her into a brand almost overnight. From red carpet events to product lines and reality shows, Charli's career began to look a lot more like that of a Hollywood A-listener than a high school sophomore. But with that fame came an intense pressure to act, to look, and be perceived like an adult. And even though her content isn't overly provocative, many of the viral dance trends that she helped popularize were set to music with adult themes and movements. And you know, she just was the person who helped popularize these ideas and bring everyone into the space. And I'm not saying that to blame anyone or to, you know, send hate to any of the creators. Again, I'm just saying the fact that she helped popularize the trend, and it doesn't mean that she was the only one. She was just one of the biggest creators who helped push up that trend. And here's some of the content that she posts, and these are some of the old videos that I found from her account. Like, these videos are pretty fun, nice to watch. While I completely understand and even admire the love Charli D'Amelio has received over the years, we can't ignore the impact she's had on shaping the new wave of teen content. The cute dances, the aesthetic outfits, and the perfectly curated vibe, Charli helped make it the standard. And in many ways, Charli didn't just grow up too fast. You know, she grew up in front of millions of users. Every haircut, every outfit, every friendship, every relationship, facial expression was either praised, picked apart, or turned into a headline. And while she has been quite open about the anxiety and emotional pressure that came with this massive attention, it's easy to forget that she was just a teenager. She wasn't trying to be a role model. She was simply posting dance videos. But it seems like the internet had other plans. She became a brand, a blueprint, a symbol of what influencer looks like for millions of young girls. And her story is one of success, yes, but it's also a cautionary tale, because in today's world, digital fame doesn't wait for childhood to end. It replaces it. And as mentioned earlier, there's lots of content like this, and Charlie and Amelia, they're not the ones to start it. There are a bunch of content I see right now. I'm just feeling so sad sometimes for those people who don't understand what might happen and just what that can lead to. Relying so much on social media, comments, likes, and all that. Putting all of your energy and all of your confidence, self-worth into that, and feeling bad once that backfires, this is not the best plan. I'm not even talking about the so-called predators or people who want to exploit or manipulate these young girls, and I'm feeling so afraid that they can actually suffer the consequences of some of these bad people. And what both Amelia and Charlie have in common is this. Their rise of fame came not only with followers and sponsorships, but also with a lot of pressure. Pressure to look perfect, to act older, and maintain a public image created for an audience that never stops watching. And in many ways, they've had to grow up fast, navigating fame, business decisions, and online scrutiny while still technically being kids. And their stories highlight a broader shift, where social media no longer separates childhood from adulthood, but compresses the two into one blurred timeline. So the question becomes, what do we lose when childhood becomes content? And more importantly, are we watching them grow or pushing them to? Another thing that stands out in this conversation is Amy Hobson, or as many of her followers know her, Amy Charlize. Born in 2007 and raised in Essex, Amy became one of the UK's most recognizable teen influencers before she could legally drive. She started out in musical at just 12 years old, and the rise was almost immediate. By 13, she had already hit the 1 million follower mark. Today, she's built a polished online empire, get ready with me videos, beauty tutorials, and fashion hauls. With millions of followers across platforms and brand partnerships with major fashion labels like Pretty Little Thing, Amy's presence feels more like a business than a personal account. And that's the thing, she is a business. By 16, she wasn't just an influencer. She was a full-time brand ambassador and fashion entrepreneur. But behind all the curated content is the quieter side of that success. The decision to leave traditional school after sitting just a few GCs, the bullying she's spoken about for being too different, too visible, or too successful too soon.
Get ready with me for bed whilst I tell you my honest opinion about people at a young age wanting to start social media. This could be my age or younger or just a bit older than me, but for our age, it's actually quite uncommon to be on social media and be like a successful person. There's not that many people that are, well, there is getting more and more now, but there wasn't. So I get asked all the time by groups of girls, groups of boys.
And Emmy's journey isn't just impressive, it's quite telling. It's a snapshot of what happens when the space of success outruns the process of growing up. It's when your personal brand evolves faster than your identity can catch up. So the question isn't just, is this too much too soon? It's also, what's being left behind in the rush to get ahead? And if Amy Charlize shows us what it looks like to turn influence into a career before adulthood, then Danielle Cohn shows us what happens when even your age becomes a public battleground.
Watch this.
People found baby photos of Danielle from her grandmother's Flickr account, which is now deleted. This particular photo of Jennifer caught the public's attention. People noticed a date on Jennifer's wristband, 3706. Other photos on the Flickr account were named 37-2006. 37 is March 7th, which is Danielle's birthday. The only difference is the year, 2006 instead of 2004.
This girl is 14. She is not 16. Change this.
And few teen influencers have sparked as much controversy and curiosity as Danielle. She first rose to fame on musical long before TikTok became what it is today, with flashy lip syncs and bold fashion choices that grabbed the internet by the throat. But from the beginning, the attention wasn't just about what she posted, it was about how old she really was. And while Danielle presented herself as older, her father later claimed that she was way younger than she told her audience to be. And her content didn't shy away from adult themes. Revealing outfits, romantic storylines, and raw glimpses into her personal life made her feel relatable to her fans. But it also pushed her further into the spotlight that many felt she was too young to handle. And this is where the tension really lives. Was Danielle just being herself, using her platform to express what she felt or believed? Or was she shaped or even exploited by this ecosystem that rewards girls for growing up faster than they should? Her millions of followers tuned in for the music, the drama, and the fashion, but what they were really witnessing was something deeper, the blurring of childhood and the celebrity.
Anyways, this is Miss Danielle Cohn. We love her. I've met you like 4 times, but we've never really had any conversations.
Yeah, a while ago, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but something about your dad lying about your age.
He had,
And we live in a world where it's becoming more and more common for young teenagers to mature earlier than expected. From social media exposure to the pressure of adult-like responsibilities, many teens are faced with challenges that push them to grow faster than generations before. But the question is this really okay? And this is the point of the video where I actually want to tackle the question, is this actually okay for teenagers and these young individuals to be that way? And while watching these videos, do you actually think it's okay to behave that way or to pose yourself in front of a camera in these moments and all the clothes and fashion and makeup? Do you actually think it's okay to consume makeup before the age of 18? And rather than blindly following the trends and being obsessed over that type of content, we have to also think about the consequences not only your actions will have on the person who's posting that kind of content, but also the millions of other people who suffer from harassment, and other problems related to this type of content. And on the one hand, early exposure to adult themes like beauty standards, relationships, and social pressures, they can lead to more worldly and savvy teenagers, and that's okay. They're often more aware of the realities of the world, at a young age, and this can also empower them to navigate challenges with more maturity. But there's also the fact that many teenagers today are incredibly entrepreneurial. They're leveraging social media to build brands and careers before they even graduate high school. However, the downside of this accelerated maturation comes with its own set of complications. For one, kids are being asked to take on adult responsibilities, from managing finances to maintaining a personal brand, well before they've ever had the chance to fully develop emotionally and mentally. The pressure to keep up appearances on platforms like TikTok, where every post is scrutinized and judged, can actually lead to anxiety, body image issues, and lots of other problems. And not to mention the personal relationships they're exposed to, from dating to online harassment. It can all be so overwhelming at a time when they're still figuring themselves out. And childhood is supposed to be a time to explore, to make mistakes, to develop without the weight of those adult expectations. But when that time is cut short, it can lead to long-term impacts on mental health and well-being. So is it actually okay for teenagers to mature early? It's complicated. While we can't deny that today's teens are more informed and capable than ever before, we also have to ask whether they're being given the space to just be kids. In a world of constant comparison and digital pressure, maybe what we need is to remind them that it's okay to be slow with things and that embracing your youth is actually all right. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time in another video. But for now, you can subscribe, like the video, comment down below. What do you think about this topic? I'm really curious to know. And I just want to take the time to thank you so much for your support, for all the likes and comments. I love you so much. And on that note, let's end the video. See you next time. Bye.